Welcome to soft skill class. Well, before we dwell deep into the subject matter, we have to understand certain things, and what are those certain things? Yes, the class is of soft skill 1. You people are from first year, first semester students, and everything is new for you. You are into a complete new environment with new faculty members. Everything is new in nutshell, isn't it? And now you have to master, you have to understand the concepts. Every student, the moment one subject is thrown on them, if I say by as a curriculum, every student first wants to know, why should I learn this subject, isn't it? And why this question arises in him? Because the reason behind that is he has his career plan, and every individual has his or her own career plan, and that career may be of different sort. It may be few of you may be wishing to be a technocrat in multinational company. Few of you may be aspiring to be an entrepreneur. Few of you may be aspiring to be, say, setting up your own industry. Few of you may be aspiring to be an IAS, PCS. Few of you may be aspiring to be, a scientist. Now, I have cited lots of example of career plan. There are many as apart from what I have mentioned, but they are career plan. The first question that is often asked and by a student, as I have already said, is why should I learn this subject? The reason behind that is because whatever career plan you have will lead to a particular situation or an environment which will be always an organization. When I say an organization, let us cite few examples, maybe a Google, maybe Facebook, maybe TCS, Microsoft, Infosys, because you people are technocrats, or NASA, ISRO, right? And their organization means what? The other understanding that we must have is, there you will be marking team and groups. Students are full of myths. There are intelligent students you might have come across who are wonderful in subject matter. They have superb knowledge. You may put any question to them, they come up with a superb, accurate, appropriate answer. But do you think just merely by having a subject matter knowledge, he or she will be able to survive in an organization? He must even have the knowledge of dealing people. He must even have the knowledge of how to behave in a given set of environment. What is the different mindset of a common public or a common people in the existing society? What are their culture, tradition, practices? Because smooth functioning of any organization can only be possible if, not only because of the skill, subject skill, the technical skill which they will be mastered at, but at the same time they must have the skill of socializing. They must be mastered at the management aspect. Don't you think if you go through or talk to your seniors, you will come across an information that even management subjects are taught to the engineers? Why? Why law? Why law is taught to the students of technical engineering students? There is a purpose, there is an objective behind that, and those objectives you have to understand, because while you live in the society, you not only live as a professional, but at the same time you have to understand being professional means what? Knowledge, skill related to a profession, but skill may be technical, skill may be social, skill may be economical, skill may be management oriented, skill may be psychological. You must know how to interact, you must have interpersonal skills, you must have intrapersonal skills, you must know how to use language, your communication skills should be good, you should be well read. Literature, people think that learning literature is a good medium through which you come to know about the existing mindset of a human being. It creates an appeal to you by its dramatic effect that an author creates. Now, I use so many terms, so many concepts, there might be a doubt in you that sir is talking so much. Hey, what to understand, what not to understand, and what are the motives? See, this is an introductory lecture, right? And every introductory lecture creates a platform of the upcoming all the units, all the lectures that will be followed by this lecture. So, I am creating a platform, and all the introductory lectures are full of concepts, and these concepts gradually we will try to deal in the upcoming eventual lectures, where these every words, that bombastic words I have used, the subject I have used, the terms that I have used will be understood. I will try to make sure that you understand these terms and its importance with its definition and proper use with an example, right? So, do not have to worry. The only thing you have to understand is this is an introductory lecture, and in every introductory lecture it is packed up, it is completely solely packed up with lots and lots of concepts. So, have patience, believe me, you will be able to understand everything, trust me, right. So, fine. So, what I said is the subject that you are dealing, let me start. Now, I am trying to dwell deep into, I just created an awareness about what all you have to do because of your career plan, what all challenges and problems you may face if you are not having this skill, soft skill, right. So, now we will be gradually trying to understand what all are the subject and its theme and objectivity, utility that you will be taught, so that all the challenges and problems that come across you in the near future, you will be able to tackle it, fight and win against it, right. So, first I would like to start soft skill. Why do our technical students need it? And why soft? Why the name of the subject is kept soft? Because every human being is full of emotion, everybody has a behavioral characteristics, everybody has an identity, everybody has a set of thought process, and those set of thought process may not be liked, may not be good for the others with whom you are interacting. What generally happens in day to day life? Recall your schooling days. Can you claim that all the students of your class were your good friends? No, no one single student can claim that wherever he stays, he has impressed each and every person around him. Why this happens? Because every human being is unique in himself or herself, and this uniqueness is just because of his own personal identity, his own personal psychological standpoints and positioning, and those standpoints and positioning yet at times creates a barrier. And this barrier you have to overcome, right? This barrier you have to overcome. And how would you overcome this barrier? By understanding soft. Why this is named soft? Just because use of language in such a way which doesn't hurts the other person. Don't you think strict, rigid and rigorous information is disseminated in the organization? There are situations where a boss has to fire his subordinate. But do you think he will straight away call that particular subordinate and start shouting at him, hey, you are fired? No, the organization doesn't need you. No, there is a protocol. There is a standard procedure which every boss has to follow. He maybe that subordinate is not at all good for the organization, but the protocol says that every human is to be respected. There will be a meeting committee, and through the HR they will be intimated, that particular subordinate will be intimated that hey, just because of certain reasons, the reasons will be cited to him, and it will very politely, decently, with full of respect transferred to him, saying that see, our ideology doesn't matches our opinions and our requirement you are not able to fulfill. So sorry, your services are let down. So what I did right now, I have tried to make you understand that in the organization there are situations where you have to come up with panic, you have to come up with embarrassing information, you have to come up with, there are complaint letters, you know, you might have been taught in intermediate about how to write a complaint letter. So somebody is writing a complaint. So do you think you will start using abusive language? No, you cannot use an abusive language. You cannot use an abusive language. You would be telling all that you have to say to the concerned authority, but in a decent way, with the proper language, right? So, and how will you know? So, what basically I wanted to say is, soft skill means having a proper knowledge about interpersonal and intrapersonal. Interpersonal means how to behave with one another in a given set of environment at different setting. Intrapersonal means, obviously, intrapersonal means what? You must know how to think properly. You must know how to use language properly, and that use of language, the behavioral, the external vision that we see about an individual, how he is behaving, how he is properly maintaining eye contact, how he is speaking, what is the quality of his voice, pitch, volume, right? Fine. So, you have to understand that intrapersonal and interpersonal communication cover up many subjects, many subjects. It is an amalgamation of lots of subjects. Why am I saying this? Because it is often said, whenever you might have come across in Viva in near future, often your teacher says, hey, you know what, your fundamentals are not clear, whether it is mathematics, whether it is English, whether it is science, physics and chemistry. You might have listened or overheard from your faculty members saying your fundamentals are not clear. So, why he says this and what he means to say by this? If your fundamentals are not clear means what? You are not aware about the concepts related to that subject, and those concepts are the building blocks, the foundation of that subject. So, that is the reason why I want you to understand that how you have to approach, I am using a term, how you have to approach this subject, with what assumptions, with what methods, and what will be the techniques that we will be dealing while understanding. And the proper understanding, see, I have written a term over here, understanding, you know, knowledge. When you can say that you are a good soft skill, you are having a good soft skill, while you have the knowledge. And how those knowledge will be claimed that you have that particular knowledge? You will be able to claim that because you will be able to memorize and understand all the concepts related to the soft skill. So, for that you have to understand what are the subjects and what are its matter, content, and I have written over here the concepts and the concepts in the context. In what context are I as an individual supposed to use these things, where and why, right? So, subjects, what are the subjects involved in soft skill? In soft skill you have to bit of understand about sociology, there is a subject. A bit of you have to understand about psychology, that is also a subject. You have to understand about management, that is also a subject. You have to even understand about the language play, linguistics, language play. You have to even understand about the communication. You have to even understand about literature, culture. You have to understand how literature functions. Why? Because literature is the right place where you can decode a culture of a particular country, society, right? Fine. So, literature and the culture of that particular place. So, these are all subjects that at the same time, whenever I will be dealing any concepts, whenever I will be creating any context, you have to understand at the background these subjects are functioning. And if these subjects are functioning and if you are able to understand with this particular orientation, you will be better able to decode and complete comprehension will be taking place in you. And if the complete comprehension is taking place in you, believe me, this skill that we are talking about will be eventually developed, automatically developed the moment you will be able to have that subject matter, right? Right? So, we have completely more or less discussed about soft, why the subject has been named as soft, and now let us discuss about skill. What do you understand by skill and who is called as a skillful person? Skill means what? There are stages of skills. Let me cite a story through which you will be able to understand what skill means. There was an industry, say ABC industry, and it was having lots of big machines, and it used to produce lots and lots of products. One day what happened, all of a sudden that machine stopped working. All the workers, management people who were there to look after these events and activities were panic. They were not able to understand why this machine is not working. Then finally the management decided to call an expert from outside. A mechanical engineer was called, and this mechanical engineer was well treated with hospitality. He was asked to sit, served with lots of snacks, and then he was taken to that particular place where this particular machine was there. And there what he cleanly observed what all was happening, and then he asked one of the employee of that organization to get a hammer. You know what? And while that particular person got the hammer, what he did? He straight away moved on to a particular part of that particular machine and hammered it twice. And what was the surprising fact? Machine started working. And he straight away again he was asked to sit in a particular conference room where he was again given treat. And while asked by him, hey, will you please tell me what is the charges that you are laying on us for giving this service? Do you know what he said? Hey, 10,000 bucks. The management was so surprised. Just to hammer twice at a particular place, you are charging me 10,000. How is that genuine? It is not reasonable. Then he was asked to give justification. Why should we pay you 10,000 just to hammer twice at a particular place on a machine? Do you know what he said? He said, I am not asking you to pay 10,000 because I hammered it.